What we're interested in is providing EC delegations and EC colleagues working in the area of governance and anti-corruption an insight and perhaps a little bit of an impetus to focus more on the country and even the subnational context on assessment tools. That is, how do you make anti-corruption assessments work for people in those countries and not just also for donors? Where does accountability, where does action coming from these type of tools, who takes it, where is it taken, on what grounds? So actually providing a little bit of analysis on how do these tools make a difference, what's the impact, and not confusing them with an end as an end in themselves, that just measuring will automatically lead to something, because it doesn't. So understanding better the interaction between government, citizens, and civil society in countries through assessment tools, and how that can foster greater accountability. It can strengthen citizens' role on government performance. It can strengthen civil society's oversight, and really understanding what type of tools might make a difference. One very obvious thing, which is unfortunately not the case, is having this done in local language and using local capacity. A lot of the knowledge generated on anti-corruption measurements is in English. It's dominated by northern-based organizations, and it sort of tends to be a little bit of a closed-circuit tool and knowledge that's shared among like-minded, if you like. So the question is also to ask, why aren't current assessment tools making more of a difference? And I think sort of overall what the presentation will try to show is that there has been a trend where a lot more attention and a lot more awareness has come on the problems and the ills of corruption based on these assessment tools, especially the Transparency International Perception Index. But it's not clear if much has changed or if there's much impact after you measure. So that's something we would like to look more at. I think the main challenge is that it's not obvious that a tool that has been created outside the country, outside the context, is useful for them. And I think very often countries are made to fit an assessment tool rather than the other way around. Most indexes, be they the Perception Corruption Index or even the Pride Payers Index, surveys, or these type of tools have a template and a certain methodology, and countries have to conform to that. When in many and this serves its own purpose, and I think these tools have been very useful to a certain degree, but for the more action-oriented ones, it has to be the other way around. The index, the tools, the method really need to fit and work for the national priorities, for the national context, and for its stakeholders. So I think that is a challenge people in the field recognize, and that's something that we've heard from them, and that's why we're trying to make these assessment approaches what we call country-led assessments, multi-stakeholder engagements on assessing, be it corruption or other areas of governance. So I think these are the challenges. Transparency International, the national chapters are often very uncomfortable with the Global Perception Index. They don't feel it gives them a good entry for having a dialogue with government. There's a lot of often confusion on the ranking. The discussion is often more about ranking and going up and down rather than the corruption problems. So I think for people in the field, they feel perhaps that this assessment and indicator world is not always relevant or a little bit apart from them.